Hi there, welcome to Inside the Casting Studio,
where professional casting directors will give you expert acting and audition tips.
Today's question
is, how do I get my child to be an actor? Oh, probably the most asked question I get, period.
We get it at weddings, we get it everywhere.
Anywhere we go.
Okay, this is a huge question, but I think the first kind of thing to remember is that the child has to want it.
Yeah.
You may think that it's a great way to pay for
college.
Not really. I mean, remember, you're driving every place, so time and money and gas and the rest of that. But your child has to want it, otherwise it's going to read on camera that he's doing something that he doesn't want to.
And trust me, as a child knows right away. I mean, I could probably drove my poor mother, crazy because I wanted to be a dancer and an actor as a child. And I just did not let her rest at that until finally she said, okay, and you know, here I am a gazillion years later. So, I mean, it's really, really important that it be their burning desire and not your burning desire. That's one of the first things you need to know. The second thing you need to know is, as a parent, it's a full-time job. So you either need to have a lot of free time to drive them around in auditions in the afternoon, because at least in California it's all after school. So you need to be able to drive them around and all over town. It could take you 3 hours to get to one location for an auditions, and that's kind of problematic sometimes. So you need to know that, or you need to have a job that's very flexible and allows you to take off
work at sometimes an hour or two's notice.
Right. It can't be that they're just cute too. There's so much more that goes into it than besides being adorable. They need to have a really great personality. They need to be able to take direction, which is really hard for a lot of kids.
And they need to be flexible, because you're going to get an audition time and it may not jive with their nap time.
And that's always fun.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot to it, and I think kind of, I mean, you know, it's a huge investment. You've got to do pictures. You're probably going to have to do braces. You're going to have to, you know, do all sorts of crazy things. And if you have other kids and they're not into acting, then you're juggling that as well. So it really is something that needs to be addressed. If you're going to move out to California, it's a huge thing.
It's a huge thing. You may have to end up homeschooling your child. You may not have to homeschool your child, but in any case, the child's grades have got to be good. Otherwise, they can't get a work permit.
Yeah.
You miss a lot of school, because if you have a 3:30 audition and you're down, say, in Long Beach or in San Diego, you're going to have to leave hours before the end of school.
Which is kind of frowned on, but that's what everybody does anyhow.
Yeah, that's true. So you're going to need to be very, very proactive in your kid's career. Pictures are going to change all the time, so be prepared to spend a lot of money on pictures.
But the good news is, if you're not in LA or New York or Chicago or one of the big major markets, or Atlanta, you can do a lot of self-taping, especially for feature films and for TV shows. So that actually works pretty well. You don't need to pick up and move. Commercials, it's very hard to do them if you live out of town, because they happen so quickly. But you know what? I think we've just decided that I think we're going to need to do a whole Inside the Casting Studio Kids edition. And we're going to address a lot of these things, because we could go on for hours about all of the stuff that you need to get your kid in. And we had kids that were actors, and we loved it, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And so it's nice we'll be able to give you information from both sides of the camera, from the casting director side and from the parent side as well.
We didn't want to make this a big downer, but we just want to make sure you're front-loaded with what you're getting into, because it's not easy.
And sometimes it's a downer. Just saying. Okay, so if you like this information, check out our website. We have classes that we offer for adults and kids. You can like us on Facebook. You can hit us up on Twitter. You should subscribe to us right here and right now.
Send us your questions and we'll get them answered.
Yes.